Hi everybody, I'm Good Catholic. This is Season 4, Episode 11, and I am at Florida for a great place to film. The ocean is beautiful, the beach is beautiful, it's a beautiful sunny day, and the topic today is going to be the omnipotence and the omniscience of God. So, let's get into it. Now, these are two very big words, but what do they mean? Well, omnipotence means that God is very omnipotent. Okay, God is very omnipotent, which means all powerful. He has all the power. He can do whatever he wants, whenever he wants. Okay, and omniscience means God is very omniscient, which means he has infinite knowledge. Like I talked about last week and the week before that, God has infinite knowledge. He knows what's going to happen. He knows what did happen. He knows why everything works. What the mysteries of this earth, the mysteries of what exists in outer space, what exists below the depth of the ocean. God knows that stuff. God knows things that only he knows, that things that we can never understand. And I think faith plays into a big role in this, because I talked a ton about this last week and the week before that. Sometimes things happen, we don't know why it happened, but we need to have faith that it's for a reason, because God has that infinite knowledge. God has the knowing of what is going to happen and what has happened. And so we need to put our faith in God, that even if we don't see it, whatever God is doing is for a reason. And I think it also works with all nature, all the wildlife. Everything has a reason. The ocean is there for a reason. It's there to give more life. It's there to shelter sea animals. It's there for so many different reasons. The animals have different reasons. Let me put this as an analogy. Okay? So camels, right? Eyebrows and eyelashes are to protect your eyes from sand right? Camels have bushy eyebrows and long eyelashes. They live in the desert. So God knew that they were going to be walking around sand, so he gave them larger eyebrows and larger eyelashes. God knows this stuff. And so all the things that work with us and all the things that work with animals happen for a reason. Animals have things for a reason. Some animals might have sharper claws. That may be to defend themselves. Other animals might have smaller claws. Maybe they don't need those sharper claws. And God also gave us dominion over the animals, so we can do what we want with the animals. And God gave us dominion to do what we want and to look at his beauty and to understand that God has infinite knowledge. And another thing that ties into this perfectly is abortion. You see, we all have, just like animals can do things for a reason, so can people. And things happen for a reason. And science has proven that birth starts at conception. Okay, that life starts at conception. That's where life starts. A baby that is inside a womb is to grow inside the womb so that they can grow enough power to get out of the womb and to enter the life. Okay? Just because they are inside a shelter does not mean that they do not exist. That's like saying people who are inside a shelter where nobody can see them, right, don't exist. That's like saying if you can't see it, it doesn't exist, which is not true. And another thing with it is you can see it, which today's modern technology, you can see it. You can hear the heartbeat. Abortion should not be a thing. It should be illegal everywhere. It's literally killing a living being. It doesn't matter if it needs shelter or not. That's like saying any living beings who maybe aren't strong enough yet or have disabilities, if they stay in the shelter, then we should just get rid of them completely. It doesn't make sense. It's not right and it's not okay, and every life deserves to be respected. And these babies could grow up to be the greatest people, maybe change several thousand lives, maybe do extraordinary things, but because today's society is so messed up and is so wrong, they do not consider those living beings living, and that's absolutely not right. And God's infinite knowledge knows for a fact that those beings are in there for a reason. They are not just there to sit there. They are in there to enter life and grow up and become a saint. We are all called to be a saint. That is what God wants of us, right? And so that baby that is inside there is supposed to be a saint, and God puts them there for a reason, and we need to bring an end to abortion. God also has omnipotence, right, which is all power. Right? And I think this ties into infinite knowledge perfectly. God has all the power to plan out all of these things, to plan out how animals will work, to plan out what the ocean is for, to plan out what rain is for. He has the power in order to do these extraordinary things, and he also has the power to do extraordinary things in your life. Miracles, right? We know about miracles. There are several modern miracles that have happened that don't get out there as much, right? A lot of them medical miracles. There were tons and tons of past miracles, and sometimes several hundred people witness these miracles, right? God has the power to do whatever he wants, whenever he wants. He is God. He can do all things, but we can't just ask him for things. One of the things that I've heard, and I think it's the best thing, I always remind myself this when I want something or when I'm praying for something, is that God is not a genie, right? God does not give you stuff if it's not for the right reason. God has power to give you these things, but he also has knowledge, right, to tell if these things are good for you or not. So something that you may want may not end up being good for you later in life, right, because God has knowledge. And something that you want might end up being good for you in real life. And so God will give it to you with his power, knowing that his knowledge, right, it's right. And that it's good for your life. It's good for your life because he has that infinite knowledge. He knows what's good for you or not. And because he has infinite power, he can do it or not. Look at this beautiful ocean behind me. Look at this sandy beach, right? God has the power to put that there. God has the power to say, let there be light, and boom, there was light. All he needs to do is say a few words, right? We read that in Genesis. God also has infinite knowledge, right? He has the knowledge to know what the ocean should be like, if it should have sand in front of it or not, which it always does, right? God has this kind of knowledge and this kind of power, and it works perfectly together. Something that I want to restate again, humans do not have. We do not have this knowledge. If we want something or if we are praying for something, we don't know if it's good for us or not, right? And the same goes for power, right? If we want something or we know something, we don't know if it's good for us or not. And so God might not use his power at that time because of his infinite knowledge, which is not good for us, which he knows it's not good for us because he has infinite knowledge. And so we need to know that whenever something bad happens, that it's for a reason. And we also need to look around and notice that the things that are on this earth that feed new life, it all happens for a reason, and it all flows in a perfect cycle. And this earth has been kept up for hundreds of millions of years, right? And everything remains perfect. Now, obviously, the people on the earth are not perfect. We all make mistakes, and we can cause destruction to this earth, right? We could mess up this earth, but there are always ways to get it back. We can also mess up our body, but there are always ways to get it back. Like if we get a cut and we hurt ourselves, right? And there's a heartbeat going to it, that's because the blood is pumping to that certain part of the body to get it more blood, right? God planned this stuff out. God has planned all of this out, and he knows that we're going to make mistakes, and he has created things to help us avoid those mistakes, which is just so brilliant. We also need to know that life is life, and being inside the womb is still alive and is to grow up to become a saint, right? That's God's ultimate goal. So taking that chance away from that child is absolutely ridiculous. And I have no doubt that all those children who have been aborted are in heaven right now. I have no doubt about that. And we need to know that abortion is not good at all. It is killing a living being. So anytime something bad is happening to us, or anytime we're trying to comprehend how this earth works, we need to remember of God's omniscience and God's omnipotence, right? All power, infinite knowledge. He knows what is best, and he knows how this earth works, and he knows things that us human beings can never comprehend. So now that the topic is done, do you guys know what it's time for now? It's time for the Saint of the Week. And unfortunately, guys, we do not have a different set for Saint of the Week in Florida. However, it's still a beautiful set with a beautiful ocean behind me. And today's Saint of the Week is going to be Saint Gianna. Now, she ties in perfectly with this week's topic. I talked a lot about abortion when I was talking about the omnipotence and omniscience of God. And Saint Gianna actually had an incredible story about this. So when she was growing up, she was very devoted to her Catholic faith. She was very open to her faith. She loved her faith, and she loved her Catholic education that her loving parents provided. Okay, later when she grew up, she chose the vocation of marriage, and she was to start a family. She was also worked as a doctor. She got a medical degree. She was a physician. Okay, and so she had 3 children. And when she was pregnant with the 4th, they discovered a tumor near where the baby was being held. And so she had 2 options. She could abort the baby, or she could remove the tumor. And she elected to only remove the tumor. However, when it was near time for the baby to be born, it started getting more and more dangerous. So she said, if you have to choose between me and the baby, choose the baby. Let the baby live, I insist. And the baby was born successfully. Gianna survived, and they thought that they were both going to survive the whole thing. But unfortunately, 2 weeks later, Saint Gianna did die. But she has such an incredible story that she was able to be loving enough to choose her child over herself. That is absolutely awesome. She is the patron saint of mothers, unborn children. Her story is absolutely awesome, and we can take a lot from this. We need to imitate her ability to be so open to the faith and her ability to have faith. She was calm when she said, save the baby. She did not hesitate, right? She knew that the baby was going to grow on to have an incredible life. And it's actually awesome because her husband and her children were at her canonization ceremony. They were at her canonization ceremony, and so they were alive when his wife and their mom was actually canonized. That is actually awesome, and we really need to imitate her ability to know what's right and to accept the faith openly, and I think that could be a great lesson for all of us. So thank you guys so much for watching. Please like the video, please click the red subscribe button down below and the bell next to it, that way you get notified when I come out with a new video. Also, don't forget to comment any saint or topic suggestions, and I will try to get to yours. Don't forget to check out all 3 of my social medias: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. The link to all 3 of those will be in the description and in the comments, as well as my website, kid-catholic.com. The link to that will be in the description and in the comments as well. This was Kid Catholic Season 4, Episode 11. I will see you guys next week, and hi Brielle!